Have you ever felt like you have a million things to get done and not enough time in the day? Like your mind is racing with all of these things, but you're paralyzed by fear because you don't even know where to start? Jay and I, we felt this before, especially when starting a huge project like turning a van into a tiny home. But we have this trick that we learned. It's helped keep our minds clear, helped us get things done faster, and I think it'll help you guys too. Now, I know Jay is a superhuman. Some people think he's an alien. And he builds really fast, but that's not the trick that we use to be able to build these builds in under 30 days. I mean, obviously it helps, but it's not the sole reason why.
Don't you say it, I can't hear it. I get defensive when I think you're calling me out. But I don't scream, I don't shout. I seethe in my anger, I swallow my answers. I try to listen, but it's all bubbling out.
Here you go, baby.
Thank you, I need this. I really need
Will it
this.
help you get stuff done?
I hope so.
Now, obviously, using coffee helps, but it's not the trick that we use to get our van build done in less than 30 days. This is what we used. Basically, the entire premise of this book is that our brain is meant to come up with ideas, not store them. So if you have an idea, write it down. Okay, I know this sounds pretty simple, and that's partly because it is, but I promise it works. This doesn't pertain to just work stuff. If you've ever been out and thought about how you need to call your friend and wish them a happy birthday, and got distracted when you got home, forgetting completely, that's because your brain isn't meant to store that information. It's easier to organize your list by categories, separating work, family, exercise, and just catering it to fit your exact needs. So one thing that's kind of like tedious for me is doing all of like the poly stuff. It's just kind of meh. So I'm going to prioritize getting that done first. Then I'm going to do the fun finishing touches that you actually get to see.
Well, it's the same as not going to eat your vegetables. So you eat your vegetables first, so then you can get to the sausage.
To the sausage. Now, obviously, sometimes you can't always control the order of which you do things, especially in a van build, but when we can control it, we definitely try to. Half the part of it is just showing up, honestly. There's undoubtedly going to be things on your list that you're dreading to get to, but if you can prioritize the crappy stuff first, it'll give you something to look forward to once it's done. And who doesn't love that dopamine hit from crossing something gross off your list? Now it's time for the fun part. So for the kitchen backsplash, we did have a nice, beautiful tile picked out, but it was marble, and the tile saw that we have, well, the tile cutter that we have, just wouldn't cut it. Don't laugh all at once. So we're just gonna use, we have laminate left over from the shower wall, so we're just gonna use that instead.
I got a new cork gun. It's really cool. It's electric. So normally I'd use contact adhesive for this, but sometimes when you're using that stuff in like tight spaces, it's really hard to get it to line up and look good, because once it touches the surface you can't move it. You've got no room for adjustment. So instead, just using a construction adhesive.
And sometimes random things will get randomly added to your list, like this. Didn't apply the laminate on the right way the first time, so we gotta redo it. And I'm just peeling all of that gunk off. This stuff was just so thick that it was showing through the laminate, and it just didn't look good. Not up to our standards, you know? Things are inevitably going to go wrong when you set out to accomplish things on your list, but I swear having your thoughts organized makes the challenges seem easier to manage. two types of people in this world. People that love the smell of gasoline and people that hate it. I'm one of the freaks that loves it. Not that this is gasoline, but contact cement smells like gasoline. And it just, whew, it's nice. Take two, baby. Very nice.
Try to find the words to say. I want you to know you are everywhere I go. I cannot explain. It's happening again. Trying to make sense. Don't think too much about coincidence.
Rest is something that should be included somewhere on your list. That's something Jay and I are still learning how to manage. We go by the saying, if you need to rest, rest tomorrow, or something like that. And we're still figuring out when that tomorrow is, but we're trying, and I promise we're getting better. Then obviously there's times where I just don't feel like doing anything. Like right now. The sort of like funny thing about getting things done is whenever I have a list and it's extremely full, I find myself getting things done more. It's never been overwhelming for me to have a huge list. It's only sort of underwhelming for me when I don't have a large list, and that's when I procrastinate. So right now Jay and I are at the end of the build, and obviously could be a little bit of the fear of being done and having to list it and see what happens. It's a little bit of that, but it's also that we're nearing the end of our list, and I think we got to add some other things onto that. A little bit of a slow process. That's nice. Okay, so this is basically the summary of what David Allen says in all 300 plus pages in this book. So whenever you have an idea, you need to find a way to capture it. Now this could be writing it down, using your phone, however you want to capture it, you need to get it out of your brain. Then you need to ask yourself, is it actionable? Now if your answer is yes, then you need to decide, is this something that will take me less than 2 minutes to get done, or will it take more than 2 minutes to get done? So if it is actionable and it's going to take less than 2 minutes to get done, then you do that shit. You do it right then and there, and you don't hesitate, and you just get it done. Now, if it's going to take more than 2 minutes to get done, that's when you start to make organized lists. And I know this sounds like, maybe it sounds obvious, maybe you already do it, maybe you don't do it and you're like, this is stupid, how is this gonna help change my life? I thought the same thing as you, and then I started to do it, and I noticed that as I started to get these lists out there and write them down and see them, my mind became clear. And as I was focusing on every task, I was able to focus solely on that task and not have a million other things going on in my brain. We're not perfect. We're still learning how to do this, how to accomplish it. It's an ever-changing and growing thing in our lives. But it's really helped us, and I just thought I would share it with you guys because hopefully it'll help you too. And yeah, like when doing such a big project like a van build or buying a house or whatever it is, it's nice to have those little tasks of accomplishment, and they sort of help propel you through and propel you forward. And I think our day is pretty much here. I think our van is done. I'm excited for you guys to see it. Should we go take a look? hand looks so big around this mug. Pippa, what do you have on your list?
I actually have to meow at the people outside to make sure that no one invades Mommy and Daddy's purposes.
Sometimes you just gotta use your head.